Max Verstappen has a 30-point lead at the top of the championship as we enter the second half of Season 2. We at Mercedes need to turn up the heat on the Dutchman, and we're going to do that in a potentially wet race in Zandvoort. Hello folks, welcome back to ASGP, welcome back to F1 Manager. My name's Aaron, I'm managing Mercedes, and we are into the second half. Well, we've had the summer break. It's not really an even split with the races, is it, in Formula One? We're into the second half of the season of Season 2. Now, over the summer break, there has been a bit of a problem. We had a factory fire, which meant we couldn't manufacture any parts, which means we haven't been able to manufacture the new front wing design that we had slated to put on the car for this round. We can now continue to manufacture any parts and open projects that will be resumed. But the factory is not able to be used today because it's race day and there's a sponsor obligation. So we can't manufacture anything until probably the Saturday of the Dutch Grand Prix. So I might have to come back and deal with that off camera. But yeah, championship wise, here's the constructors standings. We are 37 points behind Red Bull in that race. We have pulled way clear of Ferrari. Aston Martin are probably more worried about Alpine than anything else, which is kind of apt to real life at the moment, isn't it? Because Aston Martin's performance has just gone backwards in the 2023 season. Here's the Drivers' Championship. George Russell second, 30 points behind Max Verstappen, who did win the last race in Belgium. Lewis Hamilton on a bit of a roll at the moment. He's, apart from the Austria race where he finished 4th, or 5th even, he's had a really good run of races since he won in Canada. He's actually got all three wins coming in that period. So let's dive into practice, because I don't think there's anything else to tell you, and see what awaits us. In fact, I'll just show you the weather for the weekend. Saturday's going to be dry. Sunday, potential rain. So that could be fun. We're going to be diving straight into Q3 then, and we've been amongst the pace setters in Q1 and in Q2. George Russell was second fastest in Q1. Hamilton second fastest in Q2. Verstappen, to the surprise of nobody, topping both sessions. We've been doing 2 flying laps at the start of the sessions though. The first session we did a double push, and then in Q2 we did a push, cool, push. So we're going to repeat that because we actually went faster with the push, cool, push. So hopefully we'll have time to deal with that. So we'll just get the cars straight out on the circuit. There goes George Russell. Lewis Hamilton will be following him. Hopefully we will avoid traffic. Stroll is going to get out of the way of Hamilton. It's cost him a little bit of time. First sector. And he's slightly slower in the second sector on this first lap. And the gap is... it's not telling me. We'll see what they do on their second run. Has Verstappen even come out the pit lane yet? No. So here we go. Second flying lap. We are now 2 1/4 tenths off of Charles Leclerc. No traffic for the second run. Personal best for Russell. Fastest of anybody for Lewis Hamilton, a 24 flat. That traffic of Stroll definitely cost him. Track rubbering in now. Russell not improving in the middle sector. 24.1 personal best for Lewis Hamilton. So George Russell across the line. Can he improve and beat Charles Leclerc? He cannot. Hamilton does and goes fastest by 35 thousandths of a second. Verstappen is now finally on a lap. Verstappen is going very fast and to the top of the times. Alright, just over 3 minutes to go. I've changed my plan a little bit for the final run. I'm just going to do the single flying lap. Verstappen has put 0.3 of a second on us, and I don't know whether the fuel is accounting for that. We are going to follow the Red Bull out of the pit lane. And Hamilton is very close there to Russell. Hopefully there you go. They separate a little bit. There we go. Verstappen is just up ahead. Imagine if he tactically threw it off the road, Nico Rosberg style. We'll get the sectors up. We'll keep an eye on Verstappen to see if he's improving as well. But we're on to do or die territory. Russell is actually P5 and definitely needs to improve. First sector is a personal best. Hamilton doesn't improve. Verstappen hasn't improved either in the first sector. His middle sector will be due now. It's the fastest of anybody. George Russell with a personal best. Hamilton not improving. His second place is under threat here. Verstappen has just crossed the line and I don't know if he improved the time or not. Russell goes second. Hamilton stays third. So it's the Ferraris who can dislodge us from there. Leclerc is on track. Just had a bit of traffic from his teammate there. Does Leclerc get onto the front row? He does not. So we will be starting very close to Max Verstappen unless Perez does something. No, in true Sergio Perez fashion, he stays 10th. If you're not on pole, you want both your cars to be right at the front, second and third. We're in a good position. We are 3/10 off the pace. Verstappen did improve his lap time then with that mighty middle sector. Yeah, I mean, all of his laps in qualifying would have been good enough for pole position. So he's clearly thriving off of home support. We need to get in amongst it on race day and upset the apple cart and maybe send a few Dutch fans home a bit unhappy. I've set up my strategies and this is what they look like. Soft, medium inters for George Russell. Soft, soft inters for Lewis Hamilton. The soft, well, the double soft before the rain in Spa was really useful for us. The problem for George is that he only has, well, he doesn't actually have any new sets of soft tyres. He's got heavily worn sets. This is the set that he did his Q3 lap on. The other two sets have done 2 push laps. Lewis has a brand new set, so I simulated practice 3 and it used, I think, an extra set of softs for George rather than doing the same with both drivers, which is annoying. But it does mean we have this slight offset in strategy. So George Russell will be switching to mediums. I did look at the hards and they get you to the rain period, but you have to pray that the rain arrives like exactly when they're starting to run out. So I'm going to commit to making a pit stop and be able to push like hell the whole way through. Underfueling, because we'll be able to recover the fuel when the rain falls. So let's see if we can disrupt Verstappen's dominance around the Zandvoort dunes and snatch essentially what is another away win. Let's do a motor race. The sun shines for now on Zandvoort as we have 5 red lights. The lights are out, the race is on. George Russell, I think, has made a decent start. Although Verstappen might have made a slightly better one. Inside line of F1 Manager, nope. Russell has to fall into second position. Going to immediately ask Hamilton not to fight his teammate. And we can push with the engines. We can really go for it on Verstappen. Tyre-wise, what's everyone doing? Ocon is the only driver on hards. He is going to fall like a stone because everyone else is on softs. Verstappen had a new set of softs as well, which he is using right now. And in fact, what I might do is, when DRS activates, is get Hamilton to go past Russell because he's got the slightly better tyres. But we'll see how this all unfolds. It's half a second at the moment at the lead. So we'll see. It's a game that we've got to play, literally, in terms of when we decide to push, and if we can get ahead through DRS, that would be great. Alright, so we've dropped quite significantly back from Verstappen, who might really be pushing on this lap. We had to turn everything down because it was all getting a bit warm and we didn't want to keep pushing the engine. I might ask the drivers to swap positions as the Ferraris behind swap positions as well. Russell is falling back, so I'm going to take Don't Fight Teammate off of Lewis Hamilton. And then with the DRS, I'll ask him to go through. So we'll do this. So Hamilton, will he go past his teammate? Oh, please don't crash, boys. Ask George to rarely defend. And Hamilton should go through here. So now, Russell, don't fight your teammate, but the Ferraris have come to play. Hamilton, we need you to push. So let's get aggressive on the tyres and start closing this gap. What was the lap time last time around? Only 0.3 difference from Verstappen. I'm guessing the lap before was significantly faster. The gap is now 2.6 seconds. Alright, so we've reached lap 10 and we have started to close the gap to Verstappen, but Russell has actually fallen behind Lewis here. We've closed the gap through a combination of attacking and avoiding the high-risk curves. We need Russell to close the gap. So I'm going to ask him to actually deploy and close the gap. Hamilton is now within DRS range of Verstappen, but has used more of his tyres. So we'll just go standard. In fact, we'll avoid the high-risk curves to bring the temperatures down. And as long as we've got DRS, everything will be fine. Russell's tyres are starting to get a little bit second-hand. But his pit stop window is lap 20. And he has got the Ferraris to deal with. And that is a wild Carlos Sainz going down the inside. And Russell fighting back to retake the position. He's not closed up to Hamilton as I was hoping. And Hamilton is on the back of Verstappen, which is good news because now we can fight him for the win. He is looking after his tyres though, slightly better than we are, but we've had to push to catch him up. Russell still defending from Sainz. Leclerc has dropped off the back of this pair. We're going to ask Russell to harvest some energy. Ferrari surprisingly quick at this racetrack. Hamilton's pit stop window is a little bit later. So maybe if we box on lap 20.
It's not going to be long now, mate.
But then we're only just making it to the Inters window. Maybe we switch Hamilton to a set of mediums, because then we can really push on that set of tyres. So we maybe do that lap 21. Because now comfortably get us to the rain window. And we can push on them a little bit harder. Russell's pit stop window is opened. He's now 2 seconds behind Sainz. Because I've asked him to drive in clean air and forgotten to take it off. So maybe the sooner we box Russell, the better. Let's do that because he's about to be overtaken. He is being overtaken by Leclerc. So we'll bring George Russell in. We need to do something now to get him back into this race so that he can try and close the gap to Verstappen. If we allow Verstappen to keep opening the gap at the top of the championship, then it's going to be obviously very difficult to catch him. A pit stop issue for George Russell. That's not what we need to see. What was it? They just forgot to drop the car down. It's weird, like that everything's done and then the car just doesn't get released, and unless there's a car coming down the pit lane, there's no like rhyme or reason for it. Let's get the tyres up to temperature. We'll harvest some energy quickly while we're behind Piastri. Hamilton, let's attack on the tyres, topping up the energy, and then we'll bring him in on the next lap for a set of mediums as well. Right, Hamilton is coming in for his pit stop. He's just hit that danger point of 30% left on the tyres. He pits. Verstappen has stayed out another lap, as have the Ferraris. Good stop. Well, it's 2.5 seconds, so no errors. Lance Stroll has followed us in. Russell is now picking his way through some traffic. Hamilton drops back out in P4 and is 21.3 seconds behind Verstappen. Let's deploy on this lap because we've got fresh, clear air to attack. That's Ocon behind. Russell, let's get you driving in clean air, see if we can get you past this Haas. Verstappen now pits. Did he pit in response to Hamilton? Where is Hamilton? He's coming down the pit straight. He won't undercut the Dutchman because the pit lane feeds to the exit of turn 1 and runs around the inside. So he's gained maybe a second or so. But Verstappen has gone to another set of softs. So Verstappen's going to pull away from us here. But we are going to potentially have the better strategy longer term. The two Ferraris are double stacking. And there's Sainz coming out the pit lane now. Leclerc had a pit stop issue and Russell is right behind Sainz. What have the Ferraris gone to? Both gone to softs. So differing strategies here at the front. We've gone for a second stint on mediums. Well, the second stint we're doing is on mediums, not a second stint on mediums. The other three have chosen another set of softs. Verstappen 13.9, Hamilton also a 13.9. Russell going around the outside for P3, not making it stick on the smooth operator, as Stroll sets the fastest lap. Let's get Russell past Sainz then. And just make sure we get the DRS. We're not quite close enough to make the overtake, so we'll top up the battery and make sure we close the gap. We'll do the same with Hamilton so that we've got energy to use. Leclerc has fallen 7 seconds adrift of this battle as a result of the double stack and the pit stop issue. Russell actually falling back because Sainz on softs is fast. Russell is 12 seconds behind Verstappen, which that's not an easy undercut. But if Verstappen makes a mistake or Red Bull just don't come in for inters, maybe that would be good for us. Then we can turn that around. But Hamilton is the predator to Verstappen's victory here. He's got 6.8 seconds back to Sainz, and there's the weather prediction incoming. 4 minutes to the rain. Russell, however, is about to get some DRS. So let's drive in clean air with George Russell. Are we going past the Ferrari? We've got the magic inside line for F1 Manager, and there we go. Tyre-wise, they're having to look after their tyres and Sainz fighting back. We can continue pushing. Let's attack on the tyres. We're looking at the tyre wear. We're going to have to bring Russell in first. Hamilton now 2.7 behind Verstappen. We could have we got DRS there actually, thanks to the back marker. So we've got a real shot here at closing this gap and pinching the victory off of Verstappen. Sainz and Russell still having a ding-dong.
It looks like
the rain begins now.
Push and hold it, overtake.
We've got to finish off this overtake against Sainz, and we're not going to do it. So now we need to keep an eye on when the rain starts to fall properly. The rain not falling particularly hard at the moment. Let's push on the engine with Hamilton. We can save that fuel once we're in the rain because we'll be going slow. And if we need to settle for second, we will. But hopefully we can conserve the fuel and then close the gap. Rain just starting to fall a little bit harder. We're not really making much progress on Verstappen there. Russell falls, well, and he's doing the hokey-cokey with Sainz for third place. And now the Spaniard pits, although I'm guessing he just run out of tyres. Everybody else is coming in. Russell, one more lap. Let's do one more lap. Hamilton takes the lead because Verstappen has gone into the pit lane as well. They've timed it correctly. It's just started to fall a bit too heavily. And we're going to lose out here. We're now on a wet track with dry tyres. That's not what you want to see. Those inters are going to be faster, but they are also going to be slightly more used. And my mouse is a little bit laggy at the moment because the batteries are getting low, I'm guessing. Might need to change those, a bit like a power unit change. Decent stop, 2.8 seconds for Hamilton. Verstappen retakes the lead. Decent enough for Russell as well. Where's Sainz? He's coming down the pit lane, or pit straight even. And he'll pop out just ahead of Russell. But we have got slightly better tyres, so we can push with them. Hamilton did a 20.8 last time around. He lost it. We lost like 4 seconds to Sainz, which is definitely not the way you want to go. What does Verstappen do here in the rain? He does a 17.6. Hamilton 17 flat. So we are closing, but the tyres are getting a bit warm. We need them to go to the end. Sainz really pushing on a 16.2. His tyres will surely melt at some point. Verstappen does a 16.9. Hamilton a 17.4. So we are losing ground to the Dutchman, which I don't like, honestly. But it was my mistake to leave the drivers out that lap too long. Tyres cooling down. So we can just sort of keep flicking this on and off. And then the tyres will warm up again and we'll pick up our pace. So I think we're going to have to just settle for second place and Verstappen winning the race again. Hamilton being told he has low fuel range, so we'll just conserve here. Russell has caught Sainz. So in terms of tyres, Sainz has been blitzing his, as has Leclerc. And we're in a much better position at the moment. We can push a bit more on our tyres. So I'm going to get Russell to hopefully go past the Ferrari here. We'll deploy out of the final corner. We will run out of battery, but we won't have DRS. So herein lies the problem of the rain. Obviously you don't get DRS, and basically it's near impossible to overtake. We will top up the battery with both drivers, see if we can get Russell through at some point and get him at least on the podium. But even if he finishes third, he loses 10 points, and Verstappen just ekes that gap out a little bit more. But there will be races where we can really do some damage. This wasn't going to be one of them. The Red Bull is very well suited to high-speed circuits and medium-speed corners as well, and this is one of them. But there will be races where we will be very, very dangerous. And right now, I hope Carlos Sainz is feeling concerned about our danger of taking third position. And we haven't quite done it yet. We'll come back to this. But the rain has come down a little bit more and we've fallen back from Sainz. Verstappen is now 15 seconds in the lead because we're just looking after fuel and everything with Hamilton. We don't have the raw pace to catch the Red Bull. Last lap around, Hamilton was a second and a half slower, but because we were cooling tyres and we're still managing the battery, managing the fuel, Russell needs to actually conserve fuel. I didn't put him on conserve because I thought it was going just fine for him, but he might just have to settle for fourth place. And frustratingly, Ferrari being quick here is actually going to hurt us rather than Red Bull. So we'll just go balanced on the fuel there for Hamilton because he's almost good on fuel. Tyres, Verstappen is looking after his because he can. He's a week in the lead. Yeah, we'll just go to the final lap, I suppose. Bit of a disappointing ending to this race, unfortunately. The track is about to be declared dry.
Just keep talking to us about the track condition.
But there's no point changing to slicks because it is the final lap. And unfortunately we weren't able to spoil Verstappen's party. He comes across the line now to win again in Zandvoort. Lewis Hamilton is going to come home and score second place. Good job there, but Russell is going to finish off the podium. That's not good for him. He's going to lose 13 points to Verstappen in the championship. Yeah, we need those upgrades to come, and we need them to come fast. So Max Verstappen beats Lewis Hamilton to the victory for the second race in a row, but this time around it was much more distantly contested, especially after we pitted a lap too late for Inters. We were never going to close the gap. I mean, even if we'd got ahead, maybe if we'd undercut on the Inters, we might have had a chance of staying ahead because there was no DRS. But Verstappen just had too much pure pace today. Although Hamilton's best lap was 0.3 quicker, but Verstappen was probably just looking after everything. Sainz at 12.9, Ocon with the fastest lap at 12.2. So, I mean, yeah, Verstappen wasn't pushing today. Drivers' Championship. Hamilton now moves to third in the standings, but is a massive 51 points behind, is that? Or is it 61? I think it's 61 points. I will work that out with a calculator just to be sure. George Russell falls to 43 points behind Verstappen. So 8 wins this season for Verstappen, 3 each for Russell and Hamilton. Is that no one else has won a race? I don't think. No one else has won a race. So these are the 3 title contenders. And it's going to be a big old battle. At the moment, Verstappen is opening a gap that he can just sort of look after. We need to do some big damage in the next few races to make it a really climactic finish, a big finish towards the end of the season, and keep this title race going all the way to Abu Dhabi. It's much closer in the Constructors' Championship, 38 points now the difference. We lost a point to Red Bull because Perez was further down. Where did he finish? 7th. He didn't make much progress from 10th on the grid. So that's kind of balanced out. Our drivers are performing much more consistently than the 2 Red Bull drivers, but Verstappen, like in real life, keeps winning, and we need to put a stop to that at the next race in Monza. And so if you enjoyed that episode, make sure you give a nice big thumbs up, like the video for me, subscribe for more F1 Manager content. If you think there are other people who would enjoy this series, make sure you share it with everybody else, your friends, if you feel like they would enjoy it. And make sure you join me for the next race in Monza, which is always a spectacular event. I'll see you there. You're the best, fans. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.